blessings, love and light, wholeness and health. Peace and blessings, love and light, wholeness and health. Peace and blessings, love and light, wholeness and health. Take a moment and absorb into this heart chakra frequency of Anahata. To open the heart. Hello everybody. We back. It's a good day, Saturday, 8/8. We're in that Lionsgate energy for those who are aware of what the planet is doing and what's going on planetary. I wasn't gonna come back today, but I decided to come back today before I get too comfortable in that vacation type energy. And then also I was flipping through YouTube once I got back from my road trip, and I seen a YouTube on something with daylight that struck me, so I was glad to press the button and see what he was talking about. But in the video he was talking about things that he do daily as far as inspiration and motivation, and sharing the light within him that he knows, and helping enlighten others that whatever was going on in his personal life, he had pulled him back from social media and doing videos or what have you. And in that window period, a kid somewhere that was I would say leaning to his words of inspiration and motivation and encouragement. When Daylight stopped doing the videos, this kid, I forgot which state it's in, he killed himself. And so rest in power to that young man. But he killed himself, and in the process of that, he had left a letter behind to his parents. I think his mother found the letter, and he was stating, and he stated in the letter, and this is why I'm mentioning, this is why this is important. Ever since Daylight stopped doing his videos, he no longer had nothing to live for. And it touched me, but it could, I can't even imagine how it touched Daylight. But my point is, all lives matter, man. We never know. We never know who look, not necessarily look up to us, but seek us out and need that encouragement, need that motivation, need that inspiration that we may not even know we bring into people's lives. So I say that to say we need to be more mindful, F-U-L-L, mindful, and try to see ourselves in the light that others may be seeing us in, even to our unawareness. And with that, we're gonna proceed with what I was led to share today. We're gonna go into the law of life. See, I read my book, so Law of Life by A.D.K. Luke, in case y'all want to invest in one. Law of Life by A.D.K. Luke, L-U-K. And I'm gonna read the preface. The material is written as it was given in a man to convey the meaning as well as the feeling, rather than to conform the literary standards. And with that in mind, I'm going to try to take my time, because it's a short book with this, and it's 2 parts to this book. But if you master the first book, Trust me, you will not need the second one, but that, don't let me discourage you from investing in the second one for more comprehension. But I've been on this path for a long time, so this book was gifted to me, and it's I comprehend it, because I've been on this path for a long time. And for those who are on a spiritual path, trust me when I say, without application, it will never have meaning. It will never have power, and it will never give you authority over your own life. So don't just read, meditate, do disciplines, do spiritual disciplines, because it's a work that must be done to acquire spiritual power. The material is written as it was given and in a manner to convey the meaning as well as the feeling, rather than to conform to literary standards. Much of the material is taken from class notes, not from books, and some is inspirational with enough fundamental knowledge to make it practical. I'm gonna try to translate this in the most concisest manner possible to convey the most clearest comprehension of what I'm reading to all who watch this video. This compiled information consists of vital points from instruction of a new presentation of truth and of actions of the sacred fire given in classwork over a period of several years. Statements, points of law, bits of truth are compiled here so they will not be lost to the world. May they be of real worth to those interested. From observation in groups and individual instruction, we have tried to bring important points which were needed or required clarifying, as well as those which would be of assistance. Statements are presented as they were given. Some may seem repetitious, yet each gives or stresses a different point or angle. Not wanting to change statements as originally given by the ascended masters or that were received by inspiration. Both are used. One may click with one person and another with some other one. Since each consciousness is different, one presentation may not register with everyone. Repetition is good and needed by human beings. Statistics show that the average person has to hear a thing several times before he comprehends, and that's why I greet in forms of three. We have endeavored in this book to present points of law not given elsewhere, and also some of the essential material, since it is not readily available in a concise manner. We have here tried to give enough on fundamentals, understanding, and application to make it practical in a comprehensible way for beginners in this type of information, the law of life, as well as for students of the various teachings and those more advanced. This instruction gives knowledge about the ascended masters and their plans, their activities and individual services to mankind and the earth at this time. Also explains how to invoke and draw forth this assistance so much needed. This ascended master instruction is educational, not just religious or spiritual. It is a science as well as a religion and spirituality. It is no ism or cult. It is educational, the understanding of life, based on the law of energy and vibration. This teaching is scientific and covers every phase of life, including religion. Most people have looked to their religion to give them understanding of the unknown or other side of life. It is retreat work. It explains how to cooperate and work with the Brotherhood of Masters on current activities and requirements, rather than studying literature of hundreds of thousands of years ago. It gives an understanding of fundamental truths, universal law, and principles, with practical application, and is not just some dogma or creed. All that is asked of students is to accept your own God presence. Not mine, not Jesus, not Buddha, not Krishna, not no one else's, except your own God presence. This is why I'm doing this work, so you can accept your own God presence. All that is asked of students is to accept their own God presence. The great need today is for individuals to know of and accept your own God presence. the ascended masters and cosmic beings who are one with it. Such acknowledgement is the open door, making the individual a channel for the great ones to pour through their blessings to assist mankind and expand the light of the world. This instruction given by the ascended masters at this time was given only in retreats heretofore, and some of it was not given even there. Through this instruction, one can make direct contact with your own God presence and attain perfection. Our destiny is perfection. Even Jesus said, "Be ye perfect." He manifested perfection through this same understanding that is now being given to mankind in the outer world, as Buddha, as Krishna, and as many other ascended masters. By this understanding and application, one has master over outer conditions, even over death, the last enemy to be overcome. This teaching is the law of life and its conscious application. This instruction teaches, explains, and makes clear certain phases, fundamental laws of everyone's life, and teaches the practical application that has not been given in a concise manner in the outer world before. First, the knowledge and whereabouts of each one's individualized presence of God and who gives him life, meaning your knowledge of self. Second, the protective pillar of light. Third, the use of the transmuting flame. And fourth, the ascension, which is the goal of each one's life and purpose here on earth. The first section is cosmic law. There are certain activities of the sacred fire being released to mankind now, which were formerly not permitted by the great cosmic law. You had to belong to lodges or retreats or certain quote-unquote orders to obtain what this information and much of the information that we're able to get on the internet now, and that's being presented to us through different beings that's here on this planet. They were only giving it to those who qualified and secured entrance to these retreats, orders, or lodges of the masters through a special dispensation, which is a system of order. This instruction has been permitted to be given to mankind en mass, in large collectives and groups. Through the release of waves of cosmic light, energy, and then its constant increase, many actions of the law in regard to manifestation for mankind have changed. The cosmic law itself does not change, but phases of the law to produce results or manifestations and means of operation and application are changed at certain cycles to suit the consciousness of mankind. Therefore, certain phases of occult laws formerly used have become obsolete under this new dispensation. We're in a new time, we're in a new cycle, we're in a new paradigm, whether we know it or not. We're in a new shift for those who are aware of it. Within the last 30 years, many actions of the cosmic law have been changed. Much has been explained and clarified and is now known, which was not permitted before. Occult means hidden. Occult means hidden. That's all. Not witchcraft, not evil, none of those things. We have been programmed to believe to stay away from occult. Occult only means hidden. And secrecy is not the order of the new age. That's why it's being presented. The constant release of cosmic light is one reason for this instruction being permitted at this time in the first place. This is a point not understood or not understood to be overstood by some occult students. So they may feel that the giving forth of certain instructions or teachings to the public is overstepping the bounds. But it ain't no bounds to be overstepped when it comes to freedom and sovereignty of oneself. Because of the great need and the closing of cycles, the ascended master Saint Germain was enabled to secure a dispensation, a system of order, to release the instruction which he had formulated on the inner planes during the last centuries. He then began to draw together life streams and embodiment with whom he had close connection and with whom he had worked through the centuries. Many responded, and of course many did not, for one reason or another. As these students made the calls in groups, particularly and individually, more and more cosmic light was released. This enabled certain phases of the law to be set into motion not heard before. At the half-yearly council at the Grand Teton Conclave, January 1st, 1931, the old occult law was set aside. Cosmic fundamental law never changes, but its means of presentation, application, and manifestation is changed according to the needs and status of mankind's consciousness, from cycle to cycle. Certain phases have been taught by all the various esoteric teachings or orders through the centuries. This is the understanding Jesus and others had, as well as every great teacher or avatar taught secretly to those close to them or to those who could understand. Yahshua said, I of myself can do nothing. It is the source, the Father, in me that doeth the works, indicating that God was the doer, spirit is the doer, and not the outer or personal self, the ego or body. Now, who was the Father he referred to? It was this individualized God presence that says, I am. It was not just an abstract idea or principle, but a being of whom he was aware, to whom he could call or invoke, and who worked through him, manifesting the miracles and God qualities. Jesus knew, Yahshua knew, his mission as the example of the ascension he was to lead to mankind. He said, these things I have done, ye shall also do. And in that he also meant the ascension, which is the goal of every life stream. However, mankind through the centuries have had their attention on and stressed the crucifixion, which they are experiencing and outpicturing now, instead of the ascension, showing that what the attention is on, we draw it to us or become. That is law, it's scientific fact. When you give your attention to a thing, your life energy feeds into that. Your attention makes that connection. And on that attention, the quality with which you connect comes back into your world. This is manifestation. This is law of attraction. As an example, take an automobile accident, which many people have experienced for hours or days afterwards. Such an experience is uppermost in their consciousness. Some even become ill from it. Now, if it can be done with a destructive quality, the same law applies in a constructive way. Therefore, when we learn of our own individualized presence of God and the masters who have become one with it, we can draw their qualities into our world instead of destructive qualities. There is much good in every teaching and religion. In each are many universal and essential elements. Each one was planned on the inner planes by the world teacher and those in charge of that activity before it was brought forth into the outer world. Each one presented a certain portion of the law in a comprehensible way and in a manner adaptable to that time. Through the centuries, of course, many human concepts have crept in and beclouded the truth, yet we should be open-minded and alert enough to recognize the truth in each one or wherever we come across it. It is said, truth is its own defense, but it must come through human effort in the human realm. So the only truth I trust is my own, and that's what I advise you to do too. Don't take my word for it. Study and make contact with it yourself. In order to attain mastery, one need not acquire all knowledge of a universal scheme of things, but one must definitely have certain understanding, application, and discipline before he can manifest mastery. Some people have been taught that they may not ask anything of God or the law for themselves. This evidently originally meaning gratification of self or holy personal desires is correct. To be of greater service or to do work well done, certain requirements are essential. Since mankind is in these limitations and the law requires the call from the human realm, it is not wrong to call for what is required for service and to enable one to live or a better life. It is not wrong to require of the universe what you want. We have to get over the old occult idea that we can't use knowledge or perfection to help ourselves. They certainly had to in retreats. When admitted, for instance, to the retreat at Luxor in Egypt, They had to draw forth from within their own light what was required, that is food, etc. If they didn't, they would have starved. Now it is different. We are given the knowledge right out here in the outer world, which was formerly given only in retreats and lodges and secret orders. Instead of having to precipitate everything direct from the universal, we are taught how to make application, how by calling the present to action one can cause to be drawn to himself the things required, which are already physically manifested. Car, energy, money, energy, house, energy, relationship, energy. The presence as the governor of the universe can manipulate and adjust conditions and circumstances and give one what is required in the service of life. That is a form of precipitation, but a slower process than instantly condensing it from the universal. This power is only one small part or portion of the law, and not so important from the inner standpoint. Nothing is outside. Everything is from within out. This is law. We are dealing with law, the law of energy and vibration, not someone's opinion, not even mine. Not someone's opinions, concepts, or theories, but law, universal and cosmic law, which is impersonal, that never did and cannot fail. If one action or phase of it failed, it would throw the universe into chaos. I wouldn't be able to be here talking about it. It can no more fail than the universe can stop its action. The cosmic law is an activity directed by cosmic beings. When one thinks it does not work or it seems not to work, it is because it is not been applied properly or correctly or sufficiently, or you are not in the proper vibration to apply it properly, effective, or efficiently. It is not just a matter of saying so many words or saying them so many times, but a matter of releasing enough energy. You must tote it. You can't quote it. It's okay to quote it, but quote it enough and that it becomes penetrated into your being, that it becomes in your energy field, so it becomes a vibration. So then when you speak certain words, they actually have power and just not sound like full of air. It is not just a matter of saying so many words, but a feeling that releases the currents from the presence, from your inner presence, which produces the manifestations that you need in your life. This is the law, and law is law. Even I can't change it, I just know it. When one gets the feeling that it does not work, that he has applied the law and it didn't work, then there is some doubt in the consciousness that is giving power to a force other than God, other than your higher self, other than the power or force within you. Showing that the principle of the law has not been grasped. The commandment, have no other gods before me, means just that. To not give power to anything else but the highest power within you. We are facing great changes of the law. New Year's Eve 1930, the old occult law was set aside by the cosmic beings known as victory. The great cosmic being known as Cosmos came forth in August 1939. His coming forth has changed the laws, activity, and vibration to the earth. When the old occult law was set aside, the moment mankind was released from secrecy, simple as the law of life. We are dealing with reality not in abstraction, abstractly, or abstrusely. We are dealing with a definite law that is life called into action. Speak words over your life to live the life you want to live. In order to be free, you must prove the law. You can prove these things to yourself. It is law, and law correctly applied brings results. It is as scientifically as your electricity or radio and will work. When one takes hold of a live wire, it acts regardless of all opinions, that is only a wire and not charged. That is according to the law of electricity. Likewise, we are dealing with the law of life. It has been proven to work by some even without faith. However, faith is good and we should have it. It may greatly intensify the action. Experience is the law of life acting to convince you, to make you realize its action. To intellectually know a thing is one thing, but it is another thing when you prove it, then you become the law. It's one thing to know a thing, it's another thing when you prove it, because then you become the law. In former times, those who have served the light went through limitations because they had only a fragmentary knowledge of the law. There's an inner and outer action of the law. Sometimes the master speaks of the inner, sometimes of the outer action. At the time of Richard the Lionhearted, during these 14 years when he impelled forth, then such a point in the activity of the cosmic law was reached when an activity similar to the one now could have come forth. Through this understanding and activity, much has been accomplished and much avoided which would have otherwise taken place. The application and cooperation of students with the Great Brotherhood has enabled forces to be handled and adjustments made through human forms instead of through cataclysmic action. Even the transmuting of etheric records, which are sustained by thought and feeling from generation to generation, the Akashic records, is within you. When you get into a certain place of frequency and vibration, you tap the Akashic records and can read the records of your soul's journey. The accumulation of this eventually results in the cataclysmic action, at which time the great law permits it to be consumed or transmuted. The masters are trying to avoid as much destruction and to save as many people as possible. And tomorrow we're going to get on principle, but that's going to include the cosmic law for the day. Peace and blessings, love and light, wholeness and health. One. The Sawa of God.